All right, we're going to go ahead and call this special session and budget workshop to order July 23rd, 2026, 6 p.m. We'll start with invocation followed by pledge of allegiance. Ramsey, if you'd lead us, please.
Father, thank you for bringing us all here safely today. Give us wisdom, a clear mind, help us make good decisions for people. We ask these things in your name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Keep going from there. Number 4 is announcements. Council, do we have any announcements we want to get out to the public? No. Nothing from the city? Okay, we'll move on from there. Number 5 is citizens input related to agenda items. 3-minute time limit. I haven't received any. Nothing. We'll keep moving from there. Number 6, citizens input not related to agenda items. 3-minute time limit. Nothing. Keep moving. Number 7, old business. Presentation on trade of property with West Tawakoni EDC for their own property at 1300 East State Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474. Property ID 21765 for the city-owned property on Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas 75475. Property ID 110225. Property next to the city park and Deer Run Golf Course. James, this started under you.
We want to consider moving the auditor ahead of this.
Y'all want to move the auditor up?
Okay with
Yeah.
me? Yeah.
Okay, so I just need a motion. I'm sorry, I read all that.
I make a motion that we move the presentation of the annual financial report for 21-22 to now, and the 7A old business presentation on trade after this. Let this gentleman give us his information and then go on.
Okay, I've got a motion on the table.
Second.
I've got a second. All in favor?
Greg Sprinkle.
James Sam.
Cecilia Urban.
Motion passed. Okay, so
Yes.
Presentation of the annual financial report for fiscal year 2021-2022 by Brooks and Watson CPA.
Good
Floor's
evening,
all yours.
Council. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know this is a long-awaited one, the 2022 audit report. I know that y'all are already moving and on into getting the next fiscal years caught up. But we are presenting the results of the 2022 audit. So in front of you is a bound copy of the report. And inside the front cover, there are a couple items in there. One is the presentation going over the results of the audit, as well as 2 letters that accompany the report. As many of you know, there have been multiple issues in the system, and in the time period that we're looking at right now, this was when multiple QuickBooks files were being utilized, and so there were unforeseen circumstances, unfortunately, of people who passed away and different things that caused significant delays, and so we were just happy to be able to get this one completed, So while these numbers are old, I will be going over them with you for 2022. So if you follow along with me, there's this printout here. The PowerPoint presentation is printed out for you. Starting on page 2, with the page with a bunch of arrows on it. So I'm just going to quickly just go over the audit process with you. So we do perform the audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. And so that process requires us to do multiple phases. So first is the assessment phase, where we assess the controls within the city. We're looking at what the processes and procedures look like. We're looking to see what kind of risks that exist, which leads us into our risk-based approach. So we evaluate every line item within your financials. Every line item does have a different risk associated with it and can change year to year depending on what's going on within the city. So we evaluate those annually to make sure that we understand what those risks are, and then we that then drives the type of procedures we perform throughout the audit, what level of detail we perform those procedures to make sure that we're comfortable with the material accuracy of the financials when it's all said and done. As far as testing procedures go, we do what's called compliance testing. So we look at making sure that the city is bidding out activity that's required to be bid out. If the Public Fund Investment Act, if there's any grants, we're looking to see if those are being done as well. We review all city council meeting minutes. So from the beginning of the 2022 fiscal year all the way through the most recent meeting, we reviewed all your minutes to see if there's anything that has a compliance component to it that may pertain to the year under audit that we need to disclose or check into. So we will look at that, and we also look at what we call our field work. So that's when we were actually tying out the numbers for the year. So we're confirming with third party wherever possible, your bank, assessor collector, your comptroller, things of that nature. And then as we're tying out the balance sheet, we're making sure that they are materially accurate by performing cutoff procedures. So we're looking at activity that happens around year end, make sure that nothing's being left out by mistake and creating properly accrued back. And then we're making sure those revenues and expenses are properly reflected as well. Once we do that, all procedures are completed. It goes through multiple layer review to make sure that all testing has been completed and that all reporting requirements have been met as well in the report that has been issued. Next, page 3. This goes over the components within the report. So the report from front to back, there's first the auditor's opinion. That's our opinion over the financials and the material presentation of those. Then there's the management's discussion and analysis. That's the MD&A. That part has a lot of year-to-year comparison, comparing the current year under audit versus the previous year, and it'll hit on some of the more material changes that have occurred, as well as activities such as your debt, budget activity, as well as capital infrastructure type activity as well. Behind that, your basic financial statements. So there's going to be your full accrual, government-wide statements, and fund level statements, followed by notes. So there's that notes section, which is the thickest part of those financial sections, which can give you a lot of detail that pertains to those numbers. It also will give you a lot of understanding of how those numbers are arrived at, and then oftentimes we'll give a breakdown of what those numbers consist of. Behind that, your required supplementary information, such as your budget to actual for the general fund, and then your other supplementary information, so any pension-related activity, things of that nature. As it relates to that first item, the auditor's opinion, there are 4 possible opinion types that we as auditors are able to issue. There's an unmodified, a qualified disclaimer, or an adverse opinion. I do have those color coded for a reason, because we do hope to be able to issue an unmodified opinion, and the city did receive an unmodified opinion. So while we did have delays and issues in getting it all completed, we were ultimately able to get everything we needed to be able to present or issue a clean, unmodified opinion. So the 2022 fiscal year did have a clean opinion. Next, just kind of go over some of those highlights for the financials. This is, again, these are old, but I do want to go over them. 2022. This is looking at the change in fund balance year over year for your governmental funds. For 2022, the general fund went up by 19,000 from the previous year. Debt service fund went up by 21,000, and then your non-major funds are all the special revenue funds. There's a matrix that we have to run the funds through to determine whether or not they qualify as a major fund or a non-major, and all the non-major funds are presented in the back of the report. So they are all there broken out for you, but they're presented as one fund. And so cumulatively, there's an overall increase in fund balance of 12,000 from the previous year. So no major swings, which is what we typically expect to see. So in line with what we would expect. Next, page 5 is your highlights for your proprietary fund. So this is your water and sewer fund. What we look at here is to see whether or not it's self-sustaining. Where governmental funds, we hope, we don't expect them to be getting a lot of cash in and building a huge surplus, and they typically spend what they receive. Utility funds, we hope that they're gaining a little bit there so they have funds available when necessary. So looking at the operating income, it was in a healthy position, having an operating income of 444,000 for the year. After non-operating related activity, that came down a little bit to an overall increase of 309,000. But I included there the overall cash flow for the fund, which was 588,000 for the year. So looks good, self-sustaining, and what we would hope to see for that fund. Next, page 6. This is your summarized view of your budget to actual. So this is comparing your budgeted numbers, which is that far left column, to your actual numbers for the year, which is that center column. And that variance column to the right is going to give you your overall comparison. So revenues did come in under what was expected for that budget year. It was a combination of sales tax being under a little bit, fines and forfeitures were under as well. But then there was an other revenue item, which was unable to determine what exactly that was intended to be for, but that also came in under. However, thankfully the total expenditures, typically what you expect to come in is maybe what is going to offset what you plan on spending. So whatever didn't come in didn't get spent. So y'all were under budget by 163,000. So the net from a revenues and expenditure standpoint, the positive variance there of 9,748. So that's a good thing. And then there's other sources there. That's going to be some transfers and as well as some a note that was issued that year, which that ultimately came in as a positive variance of 9,000. So giving a total net positive 19,000 for your budget year. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you waited somebody.
No, just real quick. The very top line, the variance that got us to the 146 sales tax and what else?
So and if you actually look on page 71 of the bound copy, you can see a breakdown of it.
Okay.
I just kind of mentioned the higher amounts that caused it. There's also like property tax actually came in over, so it kind of washes out your sales tax. But the two biggest drivers really were fines and forfeitures. So far less came in for court related revenue that year.
Okay.
And then the other revenue, I have to go look to see exactly what that line item is because it's generic here, but there was an other revenue line item. So there was expected, and there was a budget amendment for this. So that originally there was for other revenue, it was budgeted 57,000. Got increased to 138,000, but only 10,000 came in. So it was, compared to your final budget, it was 128,000 under what was expected. I don't know specifically what that was for, but again, as I mentioned, typically it could have been a timing thing where, hey, we thought this was going to come in, maybe it came in the next year, and so that's often what happens. And then because of that, you didn't spend the money, so then you're under budget on your expenses. So that's a good so it kind of washes out.
Okay, thank you.
So nothing really super concerning. Sometimes those things happen, but often it's a timing issue. Unless you just overspend your expenditures, then that's not typically a timing issue. That's more of just mismanagement of funds, which that wasn't the case here. So
Thanks.
So after looking at the budget, we look at the general funds fund balance for that year. We always want to look to see how does that unassigned portion of your fund balance compare to your expenses. Assuming your expenses are consistent into that next year, it helps you get a feel for how far into that next year essentially would you be able to operate. Assuming they were straight, like smoothed out throughout the year, how long would you be able to operate that new year without having to receive any additional funds? Is one way to look at it. Some people call this the reserve number. So GFOA recommends a minimum of 16%. We typically recommend a range of 25% to 50% as a goal, and you guys are at 41% for 2022. So the unassigned fund balance for the general fund was in a healthy position, and so definitely a good spot to be. And then lastly, communication letters. So there were two letters that came with the report that was also inside the front cover. The first letter is the thicker of the two. That's the communication with those charged with governance. So there's a lot of required language that we have to communicate as it relates to the audit. It goes over our responsibility over the audit, management of the city's responsibility over the audit. And there are a couple things that I like to carve out from that letter just to highlight. One, the audit was conducted in compliance with all ethics requirements regarding independence. Two, we didn't have any difficulty encountered in working with management. While there were difficulties, not with management. So management was great to work with. And then there were no uncorrected misstatements identified. That it does mean that there were journal entries for the audit, but those were reviewed and those were sent over and accepted. So those are also in the back of that letter as an exhibit, a list of those journal entries that were needed. Which there were 15 entries. There were 2 journal entries that not used, technically 13 entries. All of which were kind of like year-end cleanup accrual type entries, none that were like issue corrections, but more, which is very common entry for us to have to record, are those year-end accrual type entries or reclassifications or corrections, but nothing due to negligence or fraud or anything like that. So, Um,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
So the internal control recommendations are being reviewed by the management. Who is the management? It's the city employees, or who is it?
So management of the city would be the city administrator, manager, those in the finance, like that are over that. They would receive these, and so this one, the first one that I'm talking about would be is the entries and just general communication. Then there's a second letter for the internal controls, which this so this is intended. The way the letter is worded to city management and to those in governance, which would be you all. So it's intended to be communicated to council and
I
management.
haven't seen it, so I'm assuming it's the city employees.
What? Yeah, and I think I just sent this over.
Right. I'm not.
Yeah.
I
So
just wanted to know who it is.
yes, yeah. So you're incorporated in like the one who should be receiving this. So this is the second letter is where we go over if there were any concerns over controls and broad concerns if those existed, which no fraud concerns, but there are areas that were noted for improvement. Some of which I understand have already been taking place. So fund accounting has been one that's been recommended in the past, which I recommended looking at a few options. One of which was fund view, which is what the city has moved to, which is great to hear. So that's going to take. I know that we all are still working through that in terms of getting the audits up to that point, but the fund accounting is huge for a city. It's going to make things a lot more streamlined, and so at this time that did not exist, but I'm glad to hear that it does now. And so, which will ultimately end up helping with the closing process, which is one of the other items that are noted here. There were a couple other items noted, just as so the material ones being that closing process and the system not being a fund system, but just utilizing QuickBooks. But then other recommendations over support for court dismissals and utility adjustments. And then also Public Fund Investment Act. So that is something that I think at one point was being done and then I think fell off just due to unfortunate circumstances of people not being able to be here anymore. And so due to that, the Public Fund Investment Act does require quarterly investment reports to be done, and annually the investment policy be reviewed. Even if no changes occur, it's reviewed and approved annually by council. And so those are two things that should be done, which are what number 5 and 6 in that letter are referring to. And maybe that's being done now. I don't know. So, so those are the things that are that were of note for 2022. And with that, I open up to any questions you have.
Any questions?
Glad to hear you guys did a good job. No, but you had to pull it all.
She did have to pull. Like, yeah, she's like, that's really tough whenever you're having to pull stuff for something you weren't here for.
Yeah.
That's one of the most difficult audits to do. It makes future audits much more simple. Whenever you're actually, oh yeah, I do remember doing this actually. So we know that's a difficult place to be. We really appreciate all the work that goes into an audit. We know it's not a small thing. Whenever you have daily tasks to do on top of your requests, on top of audit requests, then it makes it real difficult. And so we appreciate all the hard work that you put into it to help us get it done.
That's just good to hear that since none of us were around, that there wasn't any big snafus,
Yeah.
going on. So that was good.
Yeah. Well, if you do think of any questions later, my contact information is there, so feel free to reach out if anything, if you spot anything you have questions on, or I'd be happy to talk to you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right, no questions, council? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all. Have a great rest of your meeting. Here's that extra copy.
Council, do you want to move on and accept it now?
Well,
7B.
Because that's next, right?
yeah, 8B would be.
We'd have to move it up if y'all want to go ahead and accept it.
Make a motion to move up section 8B to now.
I've got a motion on the table to move line item 8B up to before new business.
I'll second that.
or old business, I'm sorry. Got a motion and a second.
Greg Sprinkle.
James, yeah.
Cecilia Urban.
Motion passed. So 8B with discussion and or action to accept the annual financial report for fiscal year 21-22. Council? Any other discussion, or you just want to approve it, or
I make
what's your thoughts?
your question.
No.
I make a motion to approve the annual financial report for fiscal year 2021-2022.
I've got a motion on the table to approve and a second. All in favor?
Greg Sprinkle.
James, yeah.
Cecilia Urban. Let's move on.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank
you
you so
both.
much.
Safe travels.
Ramsey, for the record, you championed this. It's come to fruition. So it's such an important thing. So we're only.
Oh, sorry,
We're only 3 more years behind.
But that's, yeah, only 2 years, but it's
Yeah, that's
better than 4
getting
years,
close.
No, that's true. We got one done. One down, 3 to go.
Okay, we'll move backwards on 7 old business presentation on trade of the property. Have you guys given any thought? I know we've seen one set of
yeah,
mock-ups come through.
yeah, the renderings, who did that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ramsey
Yeah.
gave it to me.
You did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
If I need to pull anything up on the TV, I can.
can you pull that up just so if anybody is watching us, they can see it?
That's pretty
Well,
good,
I'm not gonna see
actually.
it.
Huh?
I won't be able to see
They won't be able to see it from that camera? Okay.
Mary, do you know what day it was you sent that? I'm trying to find it.
It should still be in the OneDrive.
It is. It's in your OneDrive.
So, go here.
Have y'all given any more thoughts to trading?
I wanted to hear James's pitch
Okay.
or presentation.
Oh, my
You got a-
goodness.
you got a
Yeah,
presentation for us?
There's gotta be more than, hey, we want to swap this for that.
Yeah, well, there's a few things. One, let's just say,
Let's let them finish, so Cecilia can listen in too.
Oh, I get caught up here just a second.
And
So
then
pictures.
EDC.
This one?
Yeah, that was for sure.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sorry.
so, Ramsey, the prices are same, right? Regardless of which place it is it?
I don't think that's true.
Well, I see the total price is same, 750.
Well,
Oh,
so,
you're talking about something.
so when I had the AI engine draw up the thing, I just said, keep it under 750,000.
So,
And that's for the building, and everything it takes to build the building,
I got you.
engineering, all those things.
Right. So what we had recommended or suggested was that, we swap the state, the 1 acre of state, city property with roughly 1 acre of EDC property. The reason was that it would be actually cheaper to build on it, on the EDC property. That's one reason. Second, because we don't have to clear trees, we don't have to do any of that stuff.
And you are aware that there is main drainage going under that property that would have to be dealt with?
Now, I've heard of that. I don't know if it is going to be at the foundation of this building or not. That I don't know. It may be somewhere. That's one. Second is that if we were to build there, the property value of EDC is significantly higher than the property value of 1 acre of the city property. Property value is 83,000 for this 1 acre of city property versus 131, I think, for the EDC property. So we get more value. That's one. Less cost to prepare for construction. Number two. Number three, it's in front of the best asset we have in the city. That is the city park. That's where all the action takes place. That's where people come. That's where the people's sport or office should be too. That's my feeling. So those are some of the reasons. I mean, you have anything? You and I looked at it together. You have anything else to add?
No, After having looked at these, just a drawing out of nowhere, I kind of like the bigger property.
You like the bigger property?
Yeah, for a couple of reasons. One, if you did the trade, then we own 1 acre there, and then some that we don't own that the EDC owns, and then we own another acre down there. If we have the two together, we have a bigger, better site with room for expansion. And that's what came to me when I saw this conceptual drawing. All of a sudden I see, well, you know, if we built, and I think this is based on about a 6,000 square foot footprint. And if we use the bigger property, we have room to do that again. If our growth.
I see your
Not
point.
just that, so if you put it in the middle of that 2.5 acres, you could potentially have a whole town square around it. With all the construction getting ready to take place on this side of it, you could have an entrance coming in from there, an entrance coming in from the main highway, and if we wanted to bring in entrance from the city park, connecting it all together.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, if after looking at the satellite view, I think with some selective, pretty heavy selective trimming, I think you would have a fairly similar view of the park and the lake. You just have to get some of that brush out of the way and get it down to bigger.
So let me propose an alternative.
Let me have
Okay.
add one more thing. So I was thinking also about the money to build it. So if we take 1 acre out of the 2.5, so we have 1.5 acres left over, right? We could sell it to somebody, say, that will probably make enough money or significant portion of the money required to build this. So otherwise we have to come up with the money to, you know, fund it.
If it's only worth 86,000 an acre,
No, but when if the development happens just like as we are expecting, if let's say it happens,
okay,
so then I think those acreage would be worth 200,000 each. So you have 300,000 of it, $300,000 coming to
That-
build.
so that's
750.
certainly possible, certainly possible. You know, that's several years down the road when the development is done, right? So let me propose something different. So I am in favor of, I like the bigger piece of property for City Hall for a couple of reasons. Number one, it provides parking that we don't have at the park for events on the backside, which could be parking for City Hall. There's an easement that's going to run all the way through there anyway, that we just approved a few months ago.
Easement will not go into the city.
The easement is going to run right there through it in back of that property as well, and then create drainage down to the lake. Then the other reason that I like that is, and that's because I like something else for that acre from the EDC that I like even more, and that is I would like to see us take the residential property that we have. One of the things and one of the challenges for the EDC is they get their money from sales tax revenue, and as we heard last week, that sales tax revenue is down, right? And one of the biggest things that they can do is provide cash to businesses coming in, right? Being able to provide them with, oh, we'll give you this chunk of property, or we'll give you this whatever. Being able to give those businesses cash as incentives to come in is much more influential than anything that we could do as a city, other than maybe a tax abatement. But if you were to take those 5 residential properties and sell them individually, or let's call it their face value today, that $130,000-ish is equal to that money that the EDC property is worth today. And if we were able to let the EDC take those, sell those, put that cash in their pockets, and I mean in their EDC pockets, then we would take that 1 acre that's at the front of the park, and we would be able to put in a maintenance department for the park, and there's still enough room for us to put in, say, a 1,200, 1,800 square foot building. Nothing quite as extravagant as the city hall drawings, but something for a community center, for a civic center, for a senior center, for a town hall center, for a place to gather that was just a wide open building. It was air conditioned and heated, that you could have tables or whatever and be able to also have that at the park. So it's very similar to a rec center kind of thing, without a full blown gymnasium in it and that type of stuff. But that's because I'm so attached to the park. So I don't want to mislead you that I'm not being forthright in what my wish is, right? I'm being forthright in the fact that I think it's more difficult to sell that 1 acre for $200,000 than it is for the EDC to sell those 5 properties for $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000 each. They take that money as cash, and it goes into the EDC fund, and they are able to then incentivize businesses to come here with that cash, and we are able to then have, in essence, both, right? Because the $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 that we're going to get for that, for those pieces of residential property in our world is going to go into the general fund, and it's going to get spent on something, but we don't really know what. But I have another caveat that I want to throw in there, and that is, I am 100% in favor of the city hall and us getting a new city hall, but I would be absolutely against us doing anything other than trading property and beginning to plan for that city hall until we have an executable plan on streets and drainage. And I think we owe it to the citizens of the city that we could go get grants, we can put all this in play, we can do all of this, but we have got to do something about streets and drainage before we spend a nickel on a building that's going to look better for the city.
I'm all for getting 2 buildings, 2 different things for the city than one. But we need the money, we need the money to build it.
I agree.
That's my interest. My interest is to sell it to somebody, get that money. That'll be down payment actually for both.
I don't disagree that we need the money, but I believe that there are other ways for us to get the money without selling that property that's in a prime location for us to actually have a city hall and a city center. We give that up if we do that. And I would rather see us do some sort of long-term financing or something like that, since we have that piece of property. That could be part of our, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It could be part of our equity on the mortgage or on the loan on the city hall, because we do own that property already. And if we give it up, then we no longer have it. And we're gaining 300 feet. We're going from one spot to another 300 feet away or 1,000 feet away, and we're not really gaining anything. But we're losing an acre and a half of opportunity if we give up the 2.5 to go to 1.
But you're not losing an acre and a half. You're selling it to get some money for it, right?
But I hear you. I understand. I'm just saying, but we're losing 2.5 acres together for a 1 acre tract that really has, it really doesn't fit any, it really could be used for something different. And in my mind, it's better, but that's my opinion. So I don't want to, I don't want you to believe that I'm saying absolutely not to that, but I believe that we have an alternative that allows us to get both. Provided we get the EDC to buy to take the properties that we have, sell them for the cash that they're worth, and put that cash in the EDC books.
So I don't really care if you build the city hall here or there. I have no vested interest at all. So as long as we get a city hall, I'm happy. But I just wanted to pay for it somehow or the other.
I understand. I understand.
As long as we have a city hall, who cares? In 20 years from now, they'll say, oh, should have been there. Nobody's gonna say that. So that's good. We have to have it. Either place is good for me.
I think we don't, I don't wanna disagree completely with you, but a have to have, to me, it's, City Hall is not a have to have. Streets and drainage is a have to have. City Hall is a want to have for me. I'm perfectly fine sitting here in this room.
I like the bigger property just because it gets you more expansion room too. If we didn't end up with that other property, like he's talking about, you could still clear out more of the woods and do something else with that too, without having to give up the property.
Yeah, give me more options, but where's the money to do? We like to have it.
Where's the money to build now? We have $100,000. We still don't have enough to build. We have enough to do something, but not finish it.
We get 300 out of the.
How are we gonna get 300? We were at 200 a minute ago.
No. 200 an acre. We sell 1.5 acres, that is 300.
I don't know that we're gonna get 200 an acre for it.
But you know,
Okay.
Once we have, the hotel comes, and if the convenience store and the restaurant.
What if it doesn't come?
If it doesn't come, then it's,
We got an acre and a half that we can't
then,
sell for 7.
Then we have no money to build anyway.
Exactly.
We don't have any money to build now.
That you're exactly right, but I think there are. I just think there are other options that might be more advantageous to the city. But that's my opinion. So
Yeah.
I'll let Ramsey and
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Oh, he has there.
Okay, so it sounds like everybody's kind of moving towards, it's probably not a good idea to even look at swapping. Sounds like you've got another idea that we might need to look at moving down the road of trying to work with the EDC to swap the one property for the 5 property real estate.
So I'm not opposed to either location. Yeah, I'm not opposed. If you don't want to stop, you don't stop. But I'll go with either option as long as we have a city hall.
And it doesn't sound like, by listening to Donna the other day, that the EDC was totally on board with the swap for just an acre and a half of it. It sounded like they wanted all of it.
No, they wanted only 1 acre. They only wanted 1 acre out of the 2.5.
I heard her say they didn't want to swap at all.
Okay, I'm gonna switch out.
Yep.
The EDC hat on, they are not interested in splitting that property at all. Like, if you're looking at trading just for the, like, east side, west side of it, the board was not
Yeah.
They
in
were
favor
not.
of that.
No.
They were not. Okay.
I got that
So
impression too.
Yeah, so Donna mentioned that the other day too, but,
if that's the case, we just stick with the bigger property. We build there. That's easy.
I'm 100% on board with that.
But build it on one side or the other, and so we can sell the rest of it and make some money.
Or build a community center or build
There's the
something.
money. We can build all this. There's the money.
But there's something else that we could do. We could put together, possibly a bond issue. If we get possibly a bond issue,
Oh, yeah.
something like that, it would get us money for infrastructure and government. Yes.
That's fine too.
And we haven't been able to talk about something like that because we were behind on the audit. We're getting ready to start talking about, we're gonna have more financial options than we had a few months ago.
Yeah.
So maybe we look at a different concept for financing it too. Something that can satisfy, because Greg's right. If we go spend a bunch of money on City Hall, we don't spend something on the street, none of us are gonna be back in this room again.
I don't think it's something. I think there's gotta be more on
Yeah.
streets and drainage than there is on City Hall. And I don't know how we get that money, but I just feel like we have to make a commitment to improving streets and drainage before we improve where we sit and talk about streets and drainage.
So,
we're on board.
your commitment is already there.
Yeah.
We put the plan in place. It's just staying on track and doing it. We adopted the plan, the what do we call it?
The comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
We
it
adopted
has-
the comprehensive plan, but we have to execute that.
Yes,
And that's my point is that there are a lot of things in the comprehensive plan. And that comprehensive plan is gonna ask, we're gonna need to go get grant money, we're gonna need to, create, additional funds from the current budget and from the current, revenue. And the only way that we're going to get, in my mind, the only way we're gonna change the narrative in the town to positive is to do things that affect the greater number of citizens as a whole.
Sure.
And so adopting the comprehensive plan is one thing, voting on it is one thing, executing it is another. And we have got to, and I understand we're waiting on the audits, we've all been pushing on them for a year. Once those are done, there's no excuse for us not to apply for and receive and get told no for every grant there is out there to do everything that we can. But in my mind, if we get a grant for City Hall before we get a grant for streets and drainage, we are not doing our best job as city council.
That I disagree. We're talking about two grants, like we get this grant for City Hall, we get this grant for
Streets and drainage.
It's both are free money,
I
I'm not gonna
understand.
say no.
We're not gonna say no to the City Hall one,
No.
but before we put a shovel in the ground over there, we better put a shovel in the ground on Ladies Lane.
all right,
Yeah,
yeah.
we apply for, hey, Chris, you can tell us, you're the grant guy. What do you think? We can,
Well, let's stay on track because that's nowhere where we're at today. We want to listen to the presentation and stay on track because we did set ourselves on a time limit as well. So there's no action to be taken on there. I would recommend going back and if there's something more you want to put on the next agenda for us to talk about, whether it's trading property or whatever, then we'll move on and do that. But,
we can make a motion, all right?
nope, there's no motion to be made here.
Put it on the next agenda to make a motion. Maybe I'll make a motion to put some money for design and, development, initial development of this.
Okay.
It's a small amount of money. And we're not gonna do it right away, we don't agree to it, we'll just do it in 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is, but we just start thinking about it.
Okay, so do it, take it,
Put it into the next.
put it in an email because we need to know where you're thinking about taking that money from in order to be able to do that. So,
We'll talk about it.
so did you have more?
I was just gonna say, we're fixing to spend a lot of time on the budgets and everything for this next year. And since we can't really do anything for the city hall right now until we get all the audits and everything finished, maybe we just kind of wait a little while and we bring it back up again, or do you want to just keep?
I would say don't kill it, just
I'm
at
not
least,
killing it.
at least keep it going. Maybe we have, some amount of money, a small amount, to have a plan, create a plan. Something.
Just sit down and look at where you're thinking that can come
And if it
from.
doesn't pass, it doesn't
Yep,
pass.
yep.
So I'll come up with it.
All right, so we're gonna move on from there. Under old business, B, discussion and/or action to approve ordinance number 331-06-09-2026, rules and regulations for the use of the public park within the city. Did everybody get a chance to review the updated ordinance?
Yes.
Yes.
Is everybody in agreement? Do we have more discussion we need to do there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this line item did not get taken out about the on 4.001 where there's a number in the group. We were gonna strike that out and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up, but I will do that as well. I'll grab my makeup.
Because if she can pull it up and we can agree to pass the first ruling with those changes, then we can keep moving.
Okay.
So give her a second to pull it up.
Okay, and then I have one more thing.
Okay. Welcome to the
It takes a second.
Party,
because
Chad.
It doesn't last after.
I got stuck
I know that feeling
in the ditch.
in the ditch.
in the ditch.
What are you doing in the ditch?
And well, trying to pull out from working. I was working,
Working in it, trying to get out.
working in the ditch.
I'm not supposed to be driving in the ditch.
I got out of the ditch.
It's not liking her right
It
now.
does, it's only this computer. Woman,
Welcome to my world.
that's,
I wear poor Mary out. I'm like, I know you've shown me this, but can you show me again?
I still can't believe I have to use Authenticator to sign out.
I don't know. I'm so confused.
It's like-
when you say that, I'm over here.
I can't even get my authenticator to work.
Oh,
So why do you get an HP and everybody else gets an Ace?
this was mine before y'all got those. They're upgrading y'all, so. My Acer's not working.
I haven't even turned mine on.
Oh,
I turned it on and it won't let me in. So Mary's fixing it
I gotta go with mine.
in her spare time.
Okay, well, we're just. Keep going.
You want to use mine? I have it up.
Well, this, I mean, it's supposed to be like that. I think it's pulling out. There we go.
There we go.
Is it like the online version or do you go the regular? Okay, so
it was, 4.001.
Section 4.
So is it changing there to leave the park open?
No,
here,
yeah, see where it says
Yes.
numbers,
347.
maybe you changed it. When I had-
I pulled up the exact one from OneDrive. Public gathering?
There it is.
Do you sell a
Where
book
it
there?
says organized planned events for group numbers of blank, we talked about pulling that sentence out.
Which, so pull it out. This whole thing? This whole
Yeah.
section?
Yeah, that's what we talked about, right?
Do a track change and strike. So that we can,
I thought the pavilions will be used without a permit on a first come, first served basis is gonna stay.
That's what
It's the number in the group. We weren't. gonna
Yeah,
put a
yeah,
number to the
just, but
group.
that, take out that whole first 4 lines.
right,
Right, pavilions may be used without permit on first come, first basis is still in there.
Yes,
Just the
just the
sentence
line, the
before
4 lines
that.
above it, 5 lines, 4.5.
I'm gonna highlight it just so I can see it whenever I go to. Alright. Next section.
All right, next.
Okay, the other one I had was under the permit fees for the pavilion rental. All of them were like the same, except if you got to
So the
the,
fees were ones that we all needed to kind of get together and, okay, so we were going to split some of these. That's right. Take it.
I'm trying to see the one I'm talking about. So so like under permit fees, like the very first one for half a day, it was 50 for residents, 60 for non-residents. All of them were like a $10 upcharge for the non-residents, except for the all day. And for some reason, that one was more. And I didn't know if that should have just been 100 or if you did it like for that reason, some reason.
And did we also define what a non-resident is?
We talked about, water service, because I can look at their water bill, it'll tell me whether they're inside city or outside
city limits.
Inside the city limits itself, the
city.
building.
Now, is that defined, and here is a solid question.
So
It
What do y'all
is,
think?
in the definitions for the front of the document.
So what do y'all think on that one? Because it was $90 and 110. Is there a reason for the 110 or is
I,
100 okay for non-residents?
oh, I see what you're saying. There was only,
All of
it was
everything
doubling,
else
it
was
doubled,
10.
what it did is it doubled the upcharge.
Yeah,
So that's the reason it went up $20 because it went up more. The math doesn't work.
So these are numbers that were just put in their
Arbitrary.
recommendation and like we really wanted everybody to look at it, with a fine tooth comb, make sure that's what they like. So,
I'm fine with the $10 upcharge for non-residents and not making it $20.
I made that change.
So is that what you
That's
mean?
what I was saying,
Yeah,
because
that's
it,
fine.
I mean, it just stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Any other
Okay.
key changes?
Not for me.
We got some blanks here.
The non-resident
use permit?
deposits for special use of the whole park, do they need to be higher than the resident deposits for the same?
I don't,
I don't see a reason for it to be different. I mean,
for the special use and the whole park, I don't see a reason to upcharge the non-resident for the deposit. We're upcharging them for the use.
Yeah.
But the deposit is really just to cover damage
Or
or,
look those equal?
yeah.
Okay.
Is that everything?
And that's for you guys.
you got anything? Chad? Andy?
I'm good with it.
I make a motion that we approve this with the changes that Mary has in place on those,
Highlighted changes.
the highlighted changes.
I've got a motion on the table.
I'll second it.
Sid,
Greg Sprinkle.
Cecilia Irvin.
Motion passed. You got everything you need?
Motion to approve the changes.
Cecilia
Greg,
seconded.
Cecilia, everybody else, all good. Okay, I'm good. I didn't hear myself more. So this, everybody's good with this?
Everybody's good with it? We will move on. It takes us down to number 9, since we did new business already. Budget workshop, 60-minute time limit. You pulling it up there?
So we have two options. Not two options, whichever you guys want, but I have two options. I can pull up the spreadsheets that I gave you guys, or we can pull it up in FundView so I can do live changes for you to see the calculations moving the way they should. Does anybody have a different opinion on that? I would prefer to do it in FundView so we can see the calculation for live.
Yeah.
I can change it.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Y'all good? Okay.
But while we're in the OneDrive, obviously I've got the EDC one in there that's still being worked on through EDC. Keep West Walking Beautiful should be doing theirs next. I've got all the small funds. I do have water sewer general fund in here. Just haven't been touched or messed with as far as city
Yeah.
staff wise, because it's gonna be a minute. So like we did last year, let's start with small funds, work our way to the big ones. Take me a second to get.
Which one are you doing first?
Let's do INS. Only because it's something that's pretty
Almost.
set,
The what?
interesting people.
Oh, that's not one that was.
It's a minute.
It is?
Should be in it, not, I will. Well, you're not the only one that sees all this there, I have to do it every time too. So INS first, I'm gonna pull up my spreadsheet. Over here just to make sure I didn't. So this is what you guys see on your spreadsheet, is that correct? Make sure everybody got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not that one. Oh, yeah, that is. Okay. The only thing that's in this one, that is not reflected in FundView yet is the new account. which is the code enforcement vehicle. Everything else is the same from last year. If you look at 40-4100, which is the tax amount, that is the tax amount that we're going to need, and that was sent to Hunt County. That's the tax we're gonna need to take care of all these debts. It's gonna completely balance out in the end. One of those repayments we make every year. We will have the public works vehicle, which is this one.
Can we see that on the computer?
You
Yeah,
can if
you're
you
open,
open
you
it.
open
It's in the
your-
OneDrive.
Did you get to your OneDrive?
Yeah, so open, so you go back to the.
Chad, you can sit here if you want to sit closer.
Is this in,
Maybe-
is this in
maybe
there?
a little
Because
bit
I don't
later.
see it either.
It's in the OneDrive.
I have it.
It's in the
INS.
budget season. So if you go to council,
Special
Go to your
session.
last
No, no.
email.
You can see our moving around.
go back one more. So, if you're in the special session, if you go back one folder, I have budget season in there, so all the spreadsheets are gonna live in there. Any budget related documents that you guys need to see are gonna be in there. I added, which plays a role in this. This is what was sent,
You have the folder from budget season.
this is what was sent to Hunt County,
There's
which
a
is
link to it in
basically
that
lining
email
out
she sent
what debts we
earlier
got,
today.
very standard, how much you have in that balance at the moment.
So can you help me understand? So I understand exactly what you're doing, right? You're asking, you're telling, you are confirming for Hunt County how much tax we have to take in to be able to pay our debt.
Correct.
Okay? I don't know, how did we miss the mini excavator by $20,000 plus? Our current year to date, I don't know if this is the right time to talk about that, but it shows that our current year to date was $37,714 for the mini excavator is what we've spent, is my understanding. If current year to date means how much we have spent in tax or interest or sinking stuff.
So it looks like when she paid both of the truck, you look on this side here, the truck and the mini X was pulled out of this account. We just need to move the
Which
truck.
truck? What truck?
That truck is for,
Is it the truck that pulls the mini excavator? I mean, I don't know.
no, it's gonna be, I think it might actually be the public works truck, the one that's 20,000. You see the line just below here, you see that there's nothing in that.
$20,321.71 might be
That
the
is,
actual difference.
That-
So we posted it wrong.
we posted in the same expense account. That's what she did. She just needs to,
Probably need to fix that.
yes.
Hopefully we see a lot less of that this year than we've seen in years past,
A lot less of what?
putting it in the wrong line, wrong count.
Yes.
We have been moving steadily over the last 4 or 5 years to make sure everything's put on the right line item. We can't hardly budget right if we don't know what's being spent right.
Well,
So,
you know, I get why the numbers balance on the right now.
I'm trying it down so I know the. Anybody have any other questions on this one?
So the police unit, is that the car?
Tahoes.
Huh?
It's Tahoes.
Okay.
The one for 39,000?
Yeah.
That's the Tahoe. So the Public Works and the Mini X, 2027 will be their last payment and will be paid off.
So that program that they've been talking to us about, is that in a different category? The police?
That'll be in the general fund. Turbo Axon,
Yes.
that'll be in the
Yes,
general
that'll be
fund.
Okay.
any other questions there?
So the excavator is just a new piece of equipment that they're
We're
looking
still
at?
paying for it.
And this will be the,
They've had it a couple of years, but they're paying it off.
2027 will be the fifth year.
And that'll be the end of it?
Yes.
Won't be the end of the excavator though.
Hopefully.
Well, we need to know that because in
Yeah.
2028, I mean, if that's the case, then do we,
I
you
did
know?
not know the last time that I did, so don't.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You don't know the last time one.
That would be something we would need JD to tell us.
I mean, the trucks, they're both 2022s. They've had a lot of life. They've lived a great life. So far.
So if they get that line item moved over right, everybody's good with accepting that?
Yes.
Okay. You guys want to look at next?
Can we just go down the line? You good with occupancy?
We need more input from you guys on it, more than anything.
Okay, so we're gonna go into occupancy and look. Okay. You wanna start with what input you're needing?
Basically, a couple things I would like to do, with occupancy tax, we have to do annual reporting over 9 categories. I would like to create those 9 categories as 9 line items, where they live, that those accounts will live here, so as we spend it, we know what category it goes under, so when I report it, I just pull this report, say, $3,700 was spent in advertising, so when I go to the annual report, $3,700 was spent in advertising. Because we already determined that when we do the money, we did this year, we actually used the occupancy tax fund, this year, more than we've ever used it, so I'll be able to do that, so we see that we've spent $24,944 in advertising this year. And that's gonna include Catfish Festival, that's include everything that, went with Independence Day celebration and, the park. What we used the park.
So you want to spread that out so you can see what it was? Or you want, what is?
Advertising's already there, so there's gonna be a few more categories that I'd like to create those accounts to put the money in.
Are you looking for input on what those accounts would be, or do you
No, I'm
wanna
just-
bring that to us?
Just letting you guys know that I would like to do that, so
I'll expand on this.
yes.
So the hot tax is regulated, how we use it. And she's talking about the categories that the state puts in place about how we can use it. So every use of the hot tax has to meet one of 9 categories. And so what she wants to do in our accounting is to assign each expense to one of those categories. And that's a good safeguard to make sure that anything you're spending out of that fund meets one of the required categories. It's easier for her on the accounting side, and it's easier for us on the decision-making side.
I'm all about being able to see exactly where stuff goes,
Sure.
rather than it being all grouped together. And if that makes life easier for you, it's a win-win.
100%.
So you wanna come back to us with them
Yeah,
in there?
yeah, I'll get all those created. The biggest thing that you guys need to really think about is we budgeted $10,000. We were really hoping to get more hot tax money. Now that we've really pushed the STRs, I'm now starting to get some people reaching out on how they need to be paying their tax. So we should see some increase. We've only brought in $2,700 this year.
Why is that?
Because not everybody's reporting it correctly, and we just don't have a lot of weeks. I think, when we did the 10,000, I think it was kind of an overshot expectation, but we were hoping we would get more short-term rental, and I do think we thought the development structure would be ready, so we would be generating some revenue there.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to, what to ask, right?
Yeah.
Think on it.
We'll be bringing this one back anyway.
Our response.
You know, I know, my question, what are our options for, enforcing the STR and collecting that hot tax?
We've got ordinance now, we've got, a tracking system, me and Shannon have been working on that, so now we can start sending letters and actually enforcing it better than we've ever been able to. It's just a matter of getting that complete, and now we have a few more STRs that have actually registered, but I gotta get them registered, approved, and then I can start enforcing the rental.
So how many did we have registered?
Do not know.
Ramsey, do what?
I think it was
I think
12.
we've identified 24.
Yeah, I wanted, there was maybe,
And we
Yeah,
got,
I feel like
and
there's a
so
lot.
we got a 50% rate on that. Well, then that's at $500 each, that's $6,000, right?
But that's not what's going into this.
That's for permits.
That goes.
Okay, so that goes
permit.
into, okay, goes into a different fund, okay.
Yes. What
Doesn't
this
seem like it
is
should,
just
but
the
okay.
percentage of the actual.
Right, we get a percentage, right, the actual rate, I get it. I just was trying to figure out the math, if we had a dozen, but that goes into permit money, not into, occupancy tax.
Correct.
Gotcha.
We need to kind of get an idea of what you guys want to project for next year. I was thinking doing for 5,000, and if we do better, great, but I don't want to overshoot it for 10,000 and plan on expenditures.
You gonna have a hotel
So-
here or what?
Looking at years in the past, you had 7, 10, and then 10 again this year.
But so,
Something told us to stick with 10 again.
no, these are both 2026. So the adopted is what we adopted for the budget, and then current, I left that there because that's gonna show any amendments that we've made throughout the year.
So something told us to go up from 7 to 10.
Probably,
And
the
that's
fact we
probably
had,
the
probably,
building.
yeah, that's, well,
We're
that and the
anticipating
fact we
development.
had registered, which means that somebody can actually enforce collecting it.
Yep.
I think we've just gone a long part of the year without enforcement, or without being able to, because doesn't it go to the state comptroller first and then to us, or doesn't it go?
They do their portion, and they're supposed to bring their portion to us, so.
So explain it, tell me that again. I have a,
It's not- no,
I have a
it's
bank register.
not coming, it's not coming from the comptroller, so the owner is supposed to come directly to us to pay that tax.
Okay, they pay the comptroller and they pay us.
Right.
So in my mind, we should, if 10,000 was what we thought we were gonna do last year, and we were brand new at the enforcement game, wouldn't we think we would be better at it this year?
Absolutely.
So not saying do more, but do better at the 10 that we originally started.
So keep the 10,
But was that 10 also thinking the hotel would be in there? And that's
I don't
not
think,
even gonna be
I
in
don't
there
remember
this
I don't remember the hotel ever being ready to be ready.
About 24, we got 7,000.
That was the
That
adopted
seems
budget.
safe.
We don't know what we got.
Well, it says total revenue, $7,007.
7,000, yeah, so 7,000 is what we got, that's the budget, that's the budget.
That's the adopted
actual-
budget.
I can show you what that is.
Was that I was gonna say, that doesn't, I bet that's not the actual
That's
budget.
where I was going is.
So-
was-
That wasn't the real revenue in 2024,
So that was the adopted budget,
25.
so if we're looking at, here's the deposits. Hang on. So we're gonna go to, say 24, 25. I like having the software pulled up, 8,000.
So our actual in 24, 25 was 8,000.
Right.
So we put in policies and procedures and dropped by 75%. Bang up job on that, guys.
That's a lot of work.
So we wanna leave the 10 and see how it,
My arm's hurting from patting myself on the back. That was
I mean,
good.
if you don't wanna go like it did this year, maybe you should go with what was pulled in that year, the 8,000.
How many, do we know how many, we don't know how many we had back then, do we?
I don't think we were like.
I don't think that number really matters because we can't spend it unless we have it anyway.
A year ago, Greg, we didn't have any
Yeah,
But, I mean,
bed and
this
breakfast kind of,
Yeah.
or
short SCR. We had no short-term rentals. We had nothing registered.
So then where was it coming from?
It's went from, so we got Wagon Wheel and Anchor was two that were paying.
Is Wagon Wheel still paying? Is Anchor Inn still paying?
I have not
Wheel
received anything.
For half the run.
Has anybody went and visited with them and said, hey, what's up? We know they have new owners.
That,
So who would do that? Is that Shannon or is that the police? Is that
That,
Chris Kidwell?
that would be a code enforcement activity, and it's on the list.
Okay, that's fine. I know she wrote 94 citations already in the last month. So she's probably out of ink.
And
Oh.
postage.
Yeah.
That could very well just be something in the mix up with the new ownership.
oh yeah, I
Likely,
fully
yeah.
expect that, yeah.
So if that's the case, you don't think we've gotten anything from them all year, which the new owners just took over end of last year? So I think we stay at the 10 in hopes that we get that figured out.
I
think that on the
10's a reasonable number. If we had 8 2 years ago, and we expected growth from the enforcement and from the registrations, and because we can't spend it unless we actually have it anyway. So we could put $1 million in there and we still couldn't spend it.
So are we getting monies in from the short rentals?
I know. I've had one reach out, I think we only have, I wanna say 10, I could be plus or minus 1 or 2 that have actually registered.
But nobody's paying anything, so.
They paid, I mean, some of them paid the registration.
Yeah.
And some of the other COs, that's instead of.
But we did get that software package that's telling us
Yes.
so we need to somehow put all that together. This is part of a bigger discussion that we need to have.
Yeah, there's still some mechanics to work out on.
That captures the anchor in too, right?
I mean, they send us a data dump every
I
month.
I haven't
mean,
seen
I'm
the
over
report
that.
in a couple of months now, but I do think Anchor was on that report.
So
As
you
a
guys
matter
get
of
the
fact, I
report,
heard.
it's in the community development report every month.
Yeah, but I don't, does it show?
It's a giant data dump, so we have not had time to like dial it in. I have a tracker that I've created, similar to the ones that I've showed you, that I'm trying to work through with Shannon as we have time to add the new ones, send out the letters, and push along the process.
I'm comfortable with $10,000. What is our current balance? Is that 24,944?
No, that's what we spent.
What is our current balance in the hot tax account? Because we need to plan for next year, because clearly we can use it for the Catfish Festival, 4th of July, whatever. How much money do we have in there today?
So it says the carryover 50,000.
How much?
59,075.
Last reconciliation, it was 54,000.
54,000.
59.
59,000 is how much our carryover is.
That was what the balance was last year. 54, if I'm looking at this correctly.
So we need a number in that current year to date cash carryover, right?
Mhm.
In F7, we need a figure in there that's current.
So then, okay, I will get you the current cash balance there and have that where you can see it.
There's the 59.
Right. Scroll, so it's right there.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
Okay, so we can go back and look at that when all that gets in there. There's not a lot we can do without it. You all agree?
I don't know, couldn't we go back to the balance sheet from the last meeting?
It was 54,000. That's what I was just looking at.
Okay.
I mean, I'll pull like exact balances from the bank, but I can't log into the bank.
So do you feel like in the advertising line item that that's enough money for things we want to advertise, or does that need to go?
Well, we spent 24,000 this year. My goal for some of the advertising is to try to get some sponsorships or lessen that a little bit, especially for the people I Independence Day, Catfish Festival. So that you guys how much I want to sponsor for that and advertising. I like the number we put in there, or our current number 45.
So
There's a lot of flexibility in it.
7% of the hot tax has to be spent on that. It's mandatory. So that's how we kind of arrived at coming up with some of those numbers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's one of the ways you have to spend the money.
7%.
I believe it's 7%. Is that right? 7%?
7% is the tax itself.
No. Of the money that you collect, whatever that number is, 7% of that money must be spent on advertising. So you couldn't use hotel occupancy tax for anything not advertised.
No, I understand that, 25,000, if it is 7% or something, we're talking 250,000 plus.
Could be, if you had $1 million in there, you would have to spend $70,000 or $770,000 on advertising. You have to spend it. You could not spend it and then carry it. I would assume it carries over.
Money carries over, I just don't know if
Does
you're
the
away.
7% carry over as well?
Check on that.
Yeah, because we really should, because if we have to spend 7% of the money again next year, that's gonna take a bigger chunk. Because we based it on what we had at the time on 7%. And so if we have already taken that 7% out, then we don't need to go back to that same, let's say we collect no dollars next year, we shouldn't have to spend 7% more off the same number.
Correct.
Right.
You know.
So
That makes sense.
it should only be off the new tax, the new money earned. So that's gonna be, that cash carryover is gonna make a big difference.
So on the balance sheet dated June 30, the occupancy tax fund had 61,635 in the bank.
Okay. And we've already spent our 7% of that this year. So that's 61,000 is unencumbered next year. Is that correct?
I'm gonna have to double check.
Unencumbered for advertising.
It's unencumbered for advertising next year, correct?
Well, I'm gonna say yes, but
Where's Lee?
I'd have, yeah.
Contact-
You really need,
Get right here in the
you
chair.
need an expert, not a Rambo opinion.
Yeah.
What was that, Mary?
So it's very strict on the regulations. I wanna fact check it
Yeah.
before I get.
So, yeah, so can we get the answer to that
Yes,
question
we
about
can.
whether that
Probably
money
not
is
tonight.
unencumbered or not?
Yes.
It's already in a note?
Yes.
Okay. Because that makes a difference on how we spend it next year.
So with that, we want to come back to this one.
Can we also find out that 7% is not the maximum we can spend
We're
on?
definitely gonna confirm or correct that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like confirm or correct. That's a great way to say, we're gonna find out if you're right or wrong.
Okay. Anything else on this one?
So do we want to put that 25,500 on the requested side now
Huh?
for the advertising? If we're keeping the 10,000.
I think that number's gonna be dependent upon the other numbers that we get.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we can arbitrarily pick a number.
Well, to be continued.
To be continued.
You definitely.
I probably have more than one. but-
So the occupancy
Yeah.
tax you're gonna get next year, let's say it's 10,000.
No. Well, that's the amount we hope to get,
Right.
but we don't know if we will or not.
Right. Let's say we get to 10,000, you
Yes.
can only spend $700. No.
So the next one is
I think
EDC.
that's
Theirs
the
isn't ready, is it?
We don't touch EDC.
Spend on that.
Does EDC still
Yeah,
talking about their,
Minimum amount. of
PD special fund ready?
I don't know, John, you ready for it?
We got it all 10,000
Discussion.
in my mind, but I don't know the rules, so.
Yeah,
Where are you going to now?
This,
we're trying to validate who's ready for PD special fund.
But historically, what you got? So,
And really, what we've been using it for ammo.
but you haven't used it yet this year. Do you wanna maintain the same?
Well, yeah, because it is, the funds, the way that they were put in there is, it's really, they can't be spent for some reason, the way that it worked out.
So you can only use it on certain things.
That's the way they put it.
Can you get us a list of the things that you can use it on? Because there may be something in your regular budget that it would apply to, and we could move it there and then take whatever we were gonna give you in that budget and use it somewhere else.
I think I just did that. Well, so we'll probably move it. Just get away with it.
Consolidate it to the general fund?
You want to validate that?
I would want to see that in something that says that an auditor would not flag that. I mean, if that was put in there that way, I'm perfectly fine with it. But if it's ammo and supplies, you know,
That's what, it don't have.
printer paper could be targets.
It don't have a specific on it, but that's what asked to be used for this.
I really want us to look forward. I want to look for every way we can. Now that I've done this once before, I want to look for every way we can to minimize the past is the way we did it as the way we're going to do it. I don't know that the way it was done in the past is the way that will work today. So I want to make sure that there's every opportunity for us to take every single dollar and apply it to things that apply to the citizens. And if there's $2,846.34 sitting in in an ammo fund, and we can put it somewhere else, and you don't need it, we certainly want to buy you ammo if you need it. But if it's just sitting there and that's the exact same number it was a year ago, which I believe it is. Well, see, that's a posting thing, right? So if there's not a place to take it, if we didn't, if that was one of the things we could have taken it out of there, that would have left us $600 in the general fund. So in the past, it may or may not have been the most advantageous way for us to do it.
Well, if I read this right, it says we spent $800 on,
No, we haven't spent it yet.
It says total expenses $800.
Budgeted.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wrong column.
Okay, so
We'll get that figured out.
get that figured out and we can come back to this one. Park special fund. So that'll probably eat up the rest of the time. Just want to stay on track because we did put a time limit on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we are. Just while working through it, I split up these two special events that we do in the park, which we can always add line items and create that, or we can consolidate to one big special event category and operate
Use it
out of
until it's
that.
gone.
So what about parking from the 4th of July?
That does not go in this fund. That goes into the park.
Okay, Spark special fund is,
Completely separate from the general fund.
okay,
But we don't have any expenses to put on the 4th of July. Yeah.
No, we did not use the park special fund for that.
So this money comes from where?
This money was put in this account years and years prior. And I've never been able to find the original deposit.
what can it be used for?
When me and Lee spoke on this last year or the year before, she said, leave it park related because we have not been able to identify the original deposit for what it was, if it was earmarked for something specific. So we know it was created for the park. So it's always been used for events, whether it's trick or treat.
So there's nothing new going into it.
No, there's no new revenue in this whatsoever.
So, yeah, so do we need an account that we cannot touch this? And like the police special fund and
That's what this is. This
yeah.
is like the park special fund. So it's gonna act similar, but his has a little more regulations on it because the original deposit was for something specific. This one, we have not found anything specific to tell us you cannot spend it on X, Y, or Z. We know it was specific to the park.
Buy a table.
Yeah, I mean, can we not just put it into, I like that idea, but I can't suggest it. That'd be too good.
I mean, we always need to upgrade items in the park for our holiday in the park event, because, Christmas trees break in half the year you buy them, or whatever we may come across.
Decoration.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
better,
gonna say
that's a great idea, that's a great idea, is to
That
use
is
it.
what we did this
But
year.
let's figure out how we get rid of this fund.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if
we're
there's
not
no
spending
money going
15 minutes
into
on-
it,
Yeah,
That is why I've got it split here. I've got, Christmas in the park at 1572 and 1,000 in trunk or treat.
so can we just notate a way that when we're doing budgeting for park in the general fund, that there is $2,572.09 that we can earmark to be spent on the park, and it will come from this fund? Is there a way to do
and then
that?
just close this
And
fund
then
out.
just close this thing out?
Yes, but I think that kind of overcomplicates.
You get, she has expenditure.
I have
in
expenditures
here.
here that
So
we
we
can
spend it
spend
out
directly on
here.
Christmas
and then when
decorations
it's-
and
And then we
we
can delete it? That's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah,
I say just,
because that's what
Put
we
it
did this
all
year.
on-
We spent $3,800.
you got
on
1,000 on trunk or treat, put the rest of it on decorations for Christmas, and
That's
let
what
this
I-
count go away at the end of this year.
the end of this calendar.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Because, we will need more than that to take care of both of those events.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much on the trunk or treat, but Christmas, we're gonna, yeah.
The city sets up and gives out candy.
okay.
Are y'all good with that? Just let her,
Yes, but let's spend this money and close this account.
Yeah, I promise you.
I think we have closure on this.
Yeah.
everything good? Okay, so we didn't spend all of our time there.
No, we don't have time.
We don't have time to go into the others,
And those accounts are not ready.
and they're not ready anyway.
30 minutes, huh?
You got
Yeah,
15, 18 minutes.
15, 18, but you don't have time to go into there. They're not ready, so.
We don't have any requested money in
We'll
here
be
anyway.
spinning our
so-
wheels if we start working
Yeah.
on that right now.
I think we closed the budget workshop there. If everybody's good, we
So
can move
can
on.
we ask a couple of questions about the budget since we got two more here?
Yes.
So you had mentioned, in past meetings, wanting to do the budget a little bit differently. Could you tell us what you want, how you want us to do it this year versus how we did it last year? Are you
Yeah, so
Prepared to give us a lesson?
I haven't gone through and looked at every single budget workshop you all did last year, but in general, we want to bring you line item requests that are consistent with the expenditures we've had or the priorities that you've set in terms of like increasing this or increasing that. Or if we are not spending in this category and it's not a high priority, then we'll reduce that. So we want to bring you basically proposed figures for each line item in the budget. And then once we agree on what all those need to be, we'll put them into the proper categories within each department and ask you to adopt a budget that just shows the categories of expenditure within each department. So that if we need to move money between line items within a category, we can do that. And we could set a limit, like any amount over 2,500 or 5,000 or whatever needs to come back to council. But what I would like to do, if we can, is eliminate the need to do budget amendments to move money between line items within the same category, unless it's a really significant amount. Because A, it takes up your time, and B, it tends to slow down expenditures that are important. Sure. We would still work off of the line item budget and whatever backup you need for each line item. But the adopted budget would be categories. And I can show you what that actually.
I know, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yes, you're gonna roll it all up and we're gonna give you $100,000 in an account. How that's broken down in there, if you need to move $3,000 or $500 from one account to another, you're not gonna have to come to us to do it.
Correct.
Got that? Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
you approved the big buckets. And we worked through the little buckets.
The other thing I want to do with the budget this year is to put policies and procedures in writing behind it for you to adopt. To be frank, we're going to probably just lift those off of the consultant that did it for another city. And all of that, A, some of that has been mentioned in what Lewis presented this evening. And then B, we've actually talked to you about some of these in past, like in the strategic planning workshop, et cetera. So they'll be in the budget document before it gets to adoption time. I'll probably go ahead and put a packet in for the next budget workshop so that we can start looking at those. They'll be pretty standardized, but it's just to fill all the holes in policy and procedure that we have right now.
Is there any way when we get these spreadsheets for the lines that never get used, like PayPal fees. Is there any way to eliminate these or hide the categories so that let's get down to where we're looking at, instead of 67 pages when we print it, it's, might be 40 pages.
It's a lot easier to do that once we have, like, to show you how we see it. So when we're in here, let's do INS, some in there. Once we start putting some real numbers in here, I can then pull the report by saying, don't show me the zero requested.
Yeah.
And it's only showing you the meat of what we're actually approving. So once we start putting in numbers that way.
Can I get that in my spreadsheet and not in front of you?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I said. Once we kind of like go through them
Okay.
and kind of give an idea, or once me and him sit down, we work through.
I mean, if we haven't done anything in 2 years in that,
Yeah, I mean,
Account and-
auditors have told me we don't need to delete the account or get rid of the account because it has historical data, but we can definitely hide it from what's been approved. And when you approve and adopt the budget, those lines will not be showing.
is there also any way to group things? I know that we have to keep water and sewer and general funds separate.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the similar types of expenditures across departments.
Phones.
All salaries across departments. Phones generally come under other, so it would be in the other category across departments.
But I'm talking about, we
wanna
have
see all
line
like
item
a-
for phone by the
all
police
together,
department, phone by
all
admin, phone, and these are, they have dollars in them.
Yeah,
How much do we spend on phones?
we can do that.
It can be done.
There's not too many departments for us to summarize that for you.
And I think it would be really helpful if we could have, not necessarily by department, but by category, like phone. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you, and I'm telling you that we can do that because there's not that many departments. We'll just have, it's like 5 phone line items, so not that big deal.
Exactly.
But
But it's
I had to
difficult if I'm trying to see where
I had to
we're.
go through those words because I'm pretty sure FundView won't group them like that for us.
That's correct.
But manually, it's not that big a deal. We'll take care of it.
I can build them in a spreadsheet, but I need to get rid of all the ones that are blank.
First,
So
I haven't
like
learned how to use
it's
pivot table to do that.
What gets it where it's not as easy to do that.
How do you spell pivot table?
What it gets where it's not as easy to do that is because if you look at all, here's all the departments right now, that have phone and like I've just did a quick search for that. They're all different names. So we would have to identify it and go. through them.
Absolutely.
That's why you say we'll have to.
Nomenclature is important. I get
Everybody
that.
have a phone, everybody has something.
But can you understand how difficult it is for us to look and see how much are we spending on phones, right? Or how much we're spending on whatever? Because if it does have a different name, we don't know if it's cell phone or office phone or dictaphone or.
Consolidated all phones,
Doesn't.
so
Not everybody has a phone.
not everybody's.
How do y'all communicate? How do they communicate?
The few that do not have phones, probably their personal phones. More than that, it is their personal phone. Everybody out in the field has phones. Management has phones. So staff that are not management level, which don't get a lot of communication back and forth unless it's personal. phone.
Which would be more office staff. Yeah.
Right, okay. But everybody still has a phone.
Everybody-
absolutely.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to number 10.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We got a motion on the table.
Let's go.
Greg Sprinkle.
Cecilia Urban.
We are adjourned.
Anything else? Yes, for sure.
7:35.
didn't ask a whole lot of questions.
Short meeting.
They're gonna get longer.
Oh, yeah.